Last time I was talking a lot about heaven and hell and khandhas. I didn't realize that there was so much to talk about. But it's a topic that is hardly mentioned in the West. When we go for meditation courses or when we go in a monastery, maybe, they say there's heaven, or maybe they say there's hell, or there's the law of karma. The law of karma normally is explained pretty well. But talking about heaven and hell, and talking about where we are going, and talking about where our karma leads us, this is a topic nobody likes to hear about, and nobody likes to talk about. But because here, in this monastery, we are free to talk about everything that we think is worthwhile, everything that we think is helpful. That's why we talk. Talk about these subjects. When you listen to the talks that Tathagata Mahabodhi gives, when he's out there in the public, when he is at different villages or in different cities, then he has only one topic: heaven, hell, the 5 precepts, and karma, sensual desire, and the results of sensual desire. This is just one topic he always talks about. Normally sexual misconduct is one of the bigger topics in Thailand. It's due to the Thai culture, because in Thailand the husbands do have not only one wife, but they have a little wife, and another little wife, and another little wife, beside their main wife. So, in Thai it's called Mia Noi, so, small wife. And that is, of course, against the 5 precepts. This is sexual misconduct. You have a partner, and that's it. We have monks from this tradition have no interest in getting famous. They have no interest in getting any money. They are not paid any money. The books are not sold. All the Dhamma that is given free. And because of this reason, we can say what is really in line with the truth. We don't have to talk for the audience. We don't have to talk for getting famous. We don't have to talk for getting a name. Or we don't have to talk for getting money. So we just say this, what is helpful to the people. If we know it, or if we don't know it, we will say it. This is the way, the law of karma. If you do good karma, that will result in good results. If you do bad karma, that will lead to bad results. That means if you go against the precept, that will lead to hell realms. If you use generosity, gratitude, and respect, and keep the 5 precepts, this will lead most of the time to heavenly realms. From the heavenly realms, we go down straight to the hell realms. From the hell realms, we go straight up to the heavenly realms. There is no way, and I hope you listen very carefully. There is no way that any bad karma that we have done can be erased by any kind of actions that we will do in the future. No way. bad karma that we have done in the past will have its effect on us. It's not like in Christianity where you can buy off your sins. This is not possible. Whatever bad karma we have done, we will receive the results of this. However much good karma we have done, we will have to receive the results of it. And that is clear. We cannot exchange the good karma for bad karma. We cannot level it out. Bad karma will be bad karma. This will be one account. And good karma will be good karma. That will be another account. And the two accounts cannot level themselves out. That means if we have done a lot of good karma, so we will go to heavenly realms. If we have done some bad karma, we go for some time to the hell realms. And then go back up to heavenly realms. Whatever karma we have made, that we are the owner of. So we cannot level them out. We cannot extinguish karma. Karma is the law that rules the universe. And it's fair, it's just, whatever we do, so we better are careful whatever we are going to do and whatever we are going to say. Don't think. Just because you don't hear it or just because people don't say it, don't think that bad karma will not come back onto us. It will. It has to be. And even if you attain arahantship in this life, you still will receive the bad karma that is predestined to come this life. No matter what you are, even if you're an arahant, even if you're a completely enlightened person, the bad karma still comes. Like in the case of Moggallana, who was once the Lord of Hell. So when he died, he was an arahant, and he was the foremost disciple of the Lord Buddha. He and Sariputta were the foremost disciples of the Lord Buddha. But when he died, they pounded him to death. By 7 people, they took stones and wood and pounded him to death. It was a terrible death. Because that was his karma of previous life. Because he once used to be the Lord of the Hell realms. And when you are the Lord of the Hell realms, what are you doing? You're trying to fool other people into bad things. So, bad karma will not be erased. But for the arahant, that is his last life. And every karma that would come in the future life will not come again. It cannot come again. Once the arahant dies, that's the end of karma. Because karma cannot extend to the vimut, cannot extend to the realm of freedom. Karma is only valid for the realm of samut, and samut is the conventional reality. So there was a case, or where it is in the suttas, there was a case where when arahant was just dying, and the karma was just on the way to him. So people with psychic abilities saw a black cloud coming to this person, just ready to take him. But he died before. So it whirled around and didn't find anybody anymore and went back. So this is karma. Once you are arahant, once you're dead, then this is the end of karma. When you are arahant, you're not going to do any more good karma, nor are you doing any more bad karma. From that point on, there is no more karma. But the old karma will still come. So you will still experience the karma. Like Tanaja Mahabodhi said, the karma of shooting people with a bow of his right arm came in several ways. And the last, it hit him, when he had a car accident where he broke his arm, and then he stumbled 2 times over a water flask and hit his arm again. And then the last time he said, so that's the end. There will be no more connection with this kind of karma. The karma has been exhausted. Karma is that what we have in store. We don't know it, and most of the time it's better not to know it. But what is important is to look now at this present moment, and from this present moment try to keep the 5 precepts and try to develop good karma. Try to make some good karma. This is the only thing that is within our vicinity. That is the only thing that we can do. The old karma we cannot change. We cannot diminish, we cannot change. It will come back. And it's already determined when it's coming back. So, I stress this point, to make it clear to you. Because most of the times, when you're somewhere in the West, you don't hear it. Don't get fooled, by meditation, that gives you a peaceful, joyful sort of state of mind. But that doesn't alleviate the karma. It doesn't diminish the karma that you have done. It just gives you like just drinking having a nice meal or drinking something and you're joyful, and after that has passed away, then the joy has gone. So sitting in meditation and having a blissful or blissed out time, that this is nice for the time being, but after that, everything still remains the same. If we do not kill off, if we do not eradicate the Kilesas that produce or that make us produce the good and bad karma, then we will produce good and bad karma, no matter how many times we are blissed out. The moment we get back, we will produce karma, either being good karma or bad karma. And for the moment being, we are trying, or you, for your own good sake, trying to develop good karma. Don't just go into what looks nice, what looks interesting, what looks exciting. Check it out. If you can't do it, if you can't check it out within your heart, then check it out against the 5 precepts. And check it out against if you are going to, at the moment, if you're going to develop generosity or if you develop greed or stinginess. Check it out. Or if you have respect, if you develop respect or develop gratitude. Check it out for your own sake. Just to tell you these things. It's for your own sake, for your own better welfare. And that's what you're looking for. I have no intentions to put you in your miserable state and tell you things, that you don't like to hear, to make you sad or unhappy. That's not my intention. My intention is to help you. To help you get out of this cycle, of this vicious cycle of rebirth, of this vicious cycle of heaven and hell, of this vicious cycle of the roller coaster, going up and going down. Karma is the one that is the engine on the roller coaster. That is the engine in the car that makes us going up or makes us going down. So, be careful. And we do karma when we think, that is called mental karma. We do karma when we speak, that is called karma of speech. And we do karma with the body, and that is called action, bodily action. These are 3 kinds of karma we do, every moment, every single moment. There's hardly any moment of time when we don't do any karma, except when we are down in the deep state of samadhi or in the apana samadhi. Then we will not do any karma. But remember, these states of samadhi will not get rid of any karma as well. will not get rid of the power of the Kilesas. Getting rid of the power of the Kilesas is the task of investigation, is the task of developing wisdom. And wisdom is taking place in the heart, right here, not up here. If you could understand it, and I stress it and tell you again and again, if you could understand with our brains, then we wouldn't need to sit through all this pain and awful feelings. We could really make it very clear in our brain, we are liberated. From now on we are liberated. From now on we are completely happy. Try it out. Can you do it? No. When we are sad, we cannot change our feelings to be happy. When we are down, we cannot feel to make us feel being up. That's reality. But there is a way. There is a way how we can experience this ultimate happiness, the state of ultimate happiness. And that is the state of freedom. The state of complete freedom, or the state of holiness. Holiness spelled with H or spelled with WH. Whole as whole and holy as holy. So, both of the things can be said about it. It's this ultimate freedom, where we are actually whole and we are holy people. Holy people because we do not do any more good karma or bad karma. But for the moment being, we have to try to develop good karma. Just for our own good sake. It makes things much more easier, even if we practice, if we decide to practice the next life very strictly, then just to produce some very nice results for our next life, that it makes it easy, that we don't have such a difficult time. If we decide to go this life this way, okay, then we just have to face up with whatever we have done in the past. We don't know. But if you want to postpone it for the next 7 lives, then at least do a little bit of good karma. We cannot buy off the sins. Even if you give me $1 million or €1 million, I cannot relieve you of your sins. I cannot relieve you of your bad karma. But what you do when you actually give me this money, you do a lot of good karma. That is another question. But I don't ask for it. What shall I do with this money? It doesn't make me happy. You think you are in the world and money makes you happy. If you have a lot of money on your account, you always think, what can I do with this money? And that makes, that produces already happy feelings within you. When I have money on my account, and I do have an account, when I have money on my account, I'm worried, what am I going to do? How do I get rid of it? And in most cases, I decide, because I don't know what to do with it, so I give it to Lungta, because he knows what to do with it. We spend so much money. So, that's where it's the best, if I don't know, how to spend it correctly. And spending it correctly means, helping. Helping either you or helping other people. That means spending it correctly, not for your own personal sake. And because Lungta Mahaboa, or sometimes I call him Lungta, does it from day to day, that's why I give it normally to him. He goes out nearly every day, during the weekdays he goes to hospitals, visits hospitals, buys them a new X-ray machine or whatever, and at least he gives them 20,000 baht each hospital. And sacks of rice and whatever they need for food. Always takes a full load of and goes back. On the weekends he goes to different monasteries and does the same thing. That's his kind of help. That's how he's using the money. He doesn't use it for himself. There is no need. It doesn't make me, it doesn't make me happy buying this or going there. Some people would think, now when I go next week, go to Germany, that would be very pleasant. But actually, it's pretty unpleasant. Just to stay here, being in my kuti and meditate, it's much more peaceful, much more restful. And meeting a lot of people and going to different places and struggling your way through Europe. Not knowing if you get some food or not. Or if you get a ride. Maybe you get a ride, or most of the time you probably have to use your feet to walk from one place to the other. So that is not fun. It's not fun for me. What is fun is, going somewhere alone by myself in the wilderness and not seeing anybody. That is real fun. And therefore this you don't need any money. There's no money you need for it. You go on Pindapat and you get your food. And that's it, what you have. And you have your water, either you have a little river there, or you have some rainwater, or something like that. And that's all what you need. A place to sleep, be it in a cave, or be it on the top of the hill, or be it under a tree, that's perfect fun. But the peacefulness and especially not being bothered by all these people, that makes it so peaceful. That is happiness. That is real happiness. At least for me, For you, it might be a lot of fright and fear and anxiety coming. So what people in the world think that is fun, that is not really fun. At least not for me. And I don't think for any serious practitioner. They think going on vacation, going here and going there, and lying on the beach in the sun until they can't bear it anymore, until they're so cooked up so that they have to go in the cold water. That is not fun. But people think this is the utmost fun. Getting a suntan and going back, and showing off the suntan and telling, I was on a big vacation. But for me, this is not fun. Heating oneself up, and then just in order to be able to feel the satisfaction and cooling off. And that's how all our senses are working. They're heating us up. The senses of greed, desire, heating us up until we can't let go of the object. Being the object, being a material object that we want to buy, or being the object of the other sex. We heat ourselves up till the point we can't let go. Then we have to fulfill. And only the fulfillment it's just like this cold water, brings a short moment of satisfaction. And that's why we believe it. When we see this, that's why we believe it. This is the way out of greed. No, it isn't. The way out of greed is to see the first movement of the chitta and not to allow it to develop it into this must have or must go. That is the way out of greed. To understand that the chitta is the one who finds something boring or not interesting or wants to do something else or has some unpleasant feelings or has some discomfort and wants to get out of this discomfort. And then it tries to find an object where it can place its objects of its expectations of hope on it. And then it places its expectations of hope on this object, be it whatever object it might be. And it tells us if we get this object, all our sorrows and all our pain will be gone. The moment we see that there is some discomfort in our body, we just stay with the discomfort because we know it's anicca. It arises and it will cease. So it will just cease by itself. We don't even have to do anything for it. Everything in this whole universe arises and ceases, including our notion of ourselves. Our notion of self is a little bit more complicated because it's constructed out of 5 components. The 5 components are the 5 khandhas, or the 5 groups of attachments. And they are the body. They are feeling, they are memory and associations, thinking and consciousness. And all these 5, the blending of 5 groups, makes what I think I am. And if you remember, if you are old enough and you remember what you thought 5 years or 10 years or 20 or 30 or 40 years ago, it differs very much. There is no continuity. Even if we look at this life, there is no continuity in our what we call self. The body has changed. Our views and opinions have changed. Our education has changed. Everything has changed. So what is there, what you call self? What is there always been? The only thing that has always been there is our chitta, but we are not able to see it yet. The chitta, that is the tourist. That is the everlasting tourist who goes always on tour. He goes on tours from this country to that country, from this life to the next life. This is the chitta. It's always there. But because of the 5 khandhas, because of these 5 groups, we only see. When we call, just do it for yourself. What do you think who you are? And it's a conglomeration of thoughts, of associations, of memories, of body and feeling. That's what you call self. But the feelings have changed. The body has changed. The thoughts have changed. The memories have changed. So what is there that is really there and never changes? Everything leading back to catching the greed. Whatever arises must cease. So if there's an unpleasant feeling, we just wait until it goes by itself. Because when it comes, it has to go by itself. We do not foster it, and we do not push it away. We just try to observe it very clearly. Observe it how it is. And it's the same thing for the pleasant feeling. Don't even think that you are not running away from the pleasant feeling. It sounds ridiculous, but that is what the truth is. When a pleasant feeling arises, due to whatever, you run in your thoughts how to make it longer, how to do it again, what kind of situation do I have to get into to get this pleasant feeling again. So you actually never stay with the pleasant feeling itself. So, we have to learn. In the process of meditation and especially investigation, we have to learn to stay with these things. And that's what we train in samadhi. We are able to concentrate on one object and to stay put at this object for at least 15 to 20 minutes. And then we see the unpleasant feeling arises and ceases by itself. We just observe how it arises and how it changes and how it ceases. And then after that, an unpleasant feeling comes and it arises the same way. It changes and it ceases. And that's all what is happening. A memory arises and it will cease. A thought arises and it will cease. Everything even the body arises and ceases. But that takes, of course, a longer time. It takes from our birth to death to see it arising and ceasing. But the other thing, we can observe. We can observe within 20 or 30 minutes. Feeling arise and cease. Feeling arise and cease. Memories arise and cease. Arise and cease. Associations, putting a name to these, to the sense contact, arises and ceases the same way. The same is with thought. Thoughts arise and cease. Even if we don't want to think, they just come up and block us. And we think, where is it coming from? We don't observe it, how it arises and ceases. If you don't put any interest to this thought, it will just cease away. But we wonder, how is it possible that this thought has entered my mind? It's just nature. You don't ask, how is it possible that the squirrel, gets up the tree? You just see it, it just happens. Or the frog jumps. We just observe it, and that's it. We don't have to conclude, where it's coming from. Arising and ceasing. That's called anicca. And whatever arises and ceases is also anatta. Does not belong to us. This is not me. That doesn't belong to me. That is not myself. Whatever I can observe. Can you observe your body? Sure you can. At least you can observe your arms and your fingers, and if you look in the mirror, you can even see your face. And if you have a back mirror, you can see your back. So, whatever you observe, is that you? So then, if it would be you, who is then the observer? You observe this, you observe the floor, or you would observe the tree. Would you call the tree yourself? Just because you can observe it, would you call it yourself? No. I'm sure that you will not call it yourself. But the body that you can observe, you call yourself. And the feeling that you can experience, you call yourself. And the memories that come up, you call yourself. Why? There's an observer and there's an observed object. So, if you are really this feeling, or if you are really this memory, then who is the observer? Who is the one who knows about all these things? Isn't this the real us? This is called the chitta. The chitta who knows. It just knows about these things. Like we as human beings, we know about our environment. We just know it. We just look, and see the turtles, or see the chickens, or see whatever, animals, being big or being small. We just observe them. And if one gets hurt, we don't mind too much. If we can help them, we might even help. So it's the same with our body. And it's the same with our feelings. And it's the same with our memories. And it's the same with our thinking. Interesting, isn't it? So, this is the principle of anatta. We just grab these things. The feeling that is close within our vicinity, we grab it, and we call, this is me, I'm sad. Or I'm depressed, and I'm depressed for 4 months because I'm holding so tight on this feeling. We just grabbed it. And that's what we call self. But this is not me. We can't observe it. We know that we are depressed. So who is the one who knows that we are depressed? Who is it? Think about it. The Lord Buddha gives us this example, or gives us this help, and says whatever we can experience, this is not me, that is not myself, this does not belong to me. To get a little bit more objectivity in our practice. To get a distance from the feelings that bother us so much. To get a distance from the thoughts that bother us so much. To get a distance from from the memories that bother us so much. So he says, they are not me, that are not myself, that does not belong to me. And dukkha you all know. Dukkha, discomfort, pain, suffering, restlessness, and whatever you want to call it. Any kind of unpleasantness or unpleasant feeling. From the smallest to the biggest. That's all called dukkha. These are the three principles that govern this universe. They are the three principles or three fundamental characteristics of this whole universe or the cosmos or whatever. This whole entity that we call conventional reality. And the law of karma is governing these things. So when we start investigation, then we start it with what is at hand. What is at hand is the body, is feeling, is memory, is thinking, and is consciousness. So when we start investigation, then we start it first with the body. First with the outside of the body, and then touring inside, making an inside tour of the body. How does it look from inside? Now the one thing that we all face are the problems that we have with our practice. And the problems are called Kilesas. Kilesas are the fangs of avijja, are the fangs of greed, hate and delusion. So, in the beginning we might not know what Kilesas really are. But it's everything that is obstructing our actual task. When we sit down and want to meditate and concentrate, for instance on the breath or on the Buddha, whatever comes into conflict with this task is produced by the Kilesas. But if other thoughts are coming in, the thoughts itself, we have to understand, the thoughts themselves are not Kilesas. Feeling itself is not Kilesas. The body itself is not Kilesas. Consciousness itself is not Kilesas. And memory and associations are not Kilesas, but are used by the Kilesas. So they are their tools, and they very much cling to them. So they don't want us to understand their tools and their tricks. And that's why they give us such a hard time. So Kilesas are actually more greed, hate, and delusion. And avijja itself. Greed, what is greed? It's not only the strong greed. It's any kind of wanting. Except for one wanting nibbana. That's not called greed. Wanting freedom. Wanting to break out of the circle or wanting to practice. That's not called Kilesas. That is the work of Dhamma. Whatever we do in our practice, however, because the Dhamma has the same tools. But at the moment when we start the practice, the Dhamma has very little power over these tools. And the one who has power over these tools are the Kilesas. And that's why they give us such a hard time. So we have to regain the power over these 5 tools. That is the body, we have to move it, when we do walking meditation, or sit it when we do sitting meditation. Feeling, memory. We have to use memory in investigation. We have to use feeling for investigation. And we have to use thinking for investigation. And then in the end, we have to use consciousness for investigation. So we have to use... And we, when I talk about we, in this case, is the Dhamma. So we have to get the tools back from the power of the Kilesas. So the Kilesas are not the tools, are not the 5 khandhas. But they are some sort of mental function or mental dirt that is cluttering our chitta. It's a black coat that is cluttering our chitta, not being able to look through it and not being able to understand what is in line with the truth. So the chitta itself is defiled by these Kilesas. And the Kilesas are that give us all this trouble. The Kilesas are that want to have fun, and we are the ones who have to pay the price. They want to have fun, they want to do this or do that, and it doesn't matter to them if we are sad or happy about it. They just want to have fun. They just want to play with these 5 khandhas because it has been their toy for lives after life. For millions and billions of years or millions of lives. That's their toy. And in order to get back the toy, we have to put a little bit of resistance up these Kilesas. We have to fight them back or push them back. And that's what we do when we do practice, for instance, samadhi. When we put our concentration on the tip of the nose and observe the breath coming in and coming out. In this exercise, we try to separate the breath from the observer. We try to get a notion, who is the observer and what is the breath. So the more subtle the breath becomes, the more quality the breath develops, or the more we know about the quality of the breath, the more we develop the faculty that knows about this. Because this faculty, it's also called mindfulness, is lacking most of the time. As long as the Kilesas rule the 5 khandhas, we walk, we eat, we drink, we do whatever we want. There's no mindfulness in it. Mindfulness is the faculty that knows about what happens just right now at the moment. So we have to train it. We have to train it first with samadhi. Getting into the state of appana samadhi or upachara samadhi, that means the access samadhi or the deep samadhi, in order to have a break, just a break from this obnoxious Kilesa that always try to pull us here or pull us there or do us this or like this or don't like this or hate this or want this. When we go and go into this upachara samadhi, then we have a break from them until the time we will get out. And they will take again the reign. So we have to fight. When we do investigation and we stay on our object of investigation, it will be the same thing. As long as we can stay on our object of investigation, then the Kilesas won't have any power. But if we're going to move around and think about this and think about that, or this triggers this and triggers that, and we get off the track of our investigation, this is the work of the Kilesas. They don't want to see the truth. They really don't want to see it. They only want to play. They want to play. That's their objective. Play means also they want to be, they want to exist. And they are most afraid of to die. So, and whatever can die is only the Kilesa. That's the only thing that can die. The chitta never dies. But whatever makes this chitta dirty or whatever defiles the chitta, that can die away. And when it dies away, the chitta is clean, is pure, is holy and whole. And that's the end of the matter. That's the end of the path, and there's no more dukkha. The moment the Kilesa disappear, that's the end of dukkha. And all what remains is metta and paramang sukhang. A happiness that exceeds any kind of conventional reality. That's what remains. So get it clear, there is not a lot that we have to understand when we go this path of practice. We have to understand the 5 khandhas. The 5 khandhas are either the tools of the Kilesas, that means Kilesas are the fangs. You know what fangs are? Are the arms of greed, hate and delusion. And in the end of avijja. So, they're trying to grab us all the time. They are the fangs. So the khandhas itself, or the 5 groups of our existence, are not the Kilesas. Don't think that the body has any sin. Body just exists. Who wants the sense desires, or who is greedy for the sense desires, that's what is called the Kilesas. They are greedy or they hate it. Or they are deluded about all these things. They are deluded about itself as well. Avijja is deluded about itself. It doesn't know its own origin. And it wants to know it. Moha itself blends the 5 khandhas and mixes it, and each time we get the mixture we think it's something different. But it's all made only out of these 5 elements, or 5 khandhas, 5 groups. And that's what we have to investigate to get it clear. To really understand how they work together. Like a watch that we observe, with 5 different, how do you call it? Keys? Dials, yeah. Yeah. No, it's not the face. It's the wheels with the teeth. Huh? Gears, yeah. So you have the 5 gears that just smoothly working together. And when you look at the watch, the moment you don't have any signs or any numbers, or if you don't have any pointers, then the wheels itself, just turn around and turn around. And there's no meaning to it all. The moment you put some numbers there, and you put a small point and a big pointer, then suddenly there is time. But when you just look at the wheels, when you just look at the 5 khandhas, there is no meaning to it. It's just arising and ceasing, arising and ceasing. We are the ones who put these numbers and pointers and make the meaning, and that's what we call life. Take away the pointers and take away the numbers, and there's no meaning to it. It just turns around forever. And once we have understood, it stops turning. Once we have understood the mechanism of these 5 khandhas, how they work, and how the Kilesas are using them, and how we can use them, how the Dhamma is using them, because these are the only 2 powers that have reign over the 5 khandhas. That's the Dhamma, and that's the Kilesa, or avijja. Either the dark power is reigning, or the power of light is reigning, sitting on the throne. So. And in the process of this practice, we have to get rid of this black power, or of this dark power. Right? So, and with this I end this talk.